Welcome back, friends, to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany starting in 1935. It's January 1957, and observant people might go, well, what happened to the autumn and early winter of 1956? Technical issues. For some reason, let me just change this piece of software, just ignore the multiple regressions, but down here, this thing, for some reason, deactivated itself. So I put this little lock on because it's happened before and it's incredibly annoying. And yeah, I don't want that. And you know, my setup is pretty good. So I have that piece of software, it's called OBS. A lot of YouTubers use it. And then I've repurposed this old tablet as a control thing. So along the bottom you've got the different views. So I'm on full face at the moment, and you can see there's a battle one and a zoomed one and so on. And above them there's the ability to turn on or off my picture-in-picture face, just in case I'm obscuring something. And then the top is the record, which is currently active, and there's the big pause button because sometimes I need to pause and then unpause to have a think about things. So there you go. That's a little bit of the magic behind all of this stuff you don't have to know, that I had to learn when I first started doing this way back when, in those long gone COVID days. So, bonus, I have lost the autumn, but not much happened. Britain, as you can see here, was very annoyed with us. They're currently up at 10. They had crossed over to the line into 11, and it looked like we were going to war, and the French, who are currently 7, were up at 9, I think. So it was a real big question mark about whether the French were going to join, and that still is very much a possibility. I mean, really, all I need is one of those shall I increase tensions kinds of events, and boom, we're probably going to be in war. So let's take a look at where I think we are across the whole fleet in war preparedness. So I've gone down and had a look at each in turn. So first of all, the soft, cuddly factors. My crew quality is good. My officer quality, that I keep on just gently shuffling around to remove below average leaders from important positions, they're both fine. Advanced training, so that's the various doctrines. I have elite pilots ticked, and of course I have the Naval Academy ticked, but that's it. So I've put that as an amber, so I'm just using a simple traffic light system here. Intelligence, I might be a bit harsh on myself. This arguably could be green because I've got good medium intelligence on both Britain and France, as well as good intelligence on the Soviet Union and a little bit of low intelligence on America, should that want to join in with these things. Next up, financials. Yeah, the balance is a bit poor at the moment. I have had to stop building the missile submarines. They're quite expensive to build, and I'm building quite a lot, but also they don't go out of date. So I would rather build the ships I want to build and then bring on the submarines than the other way round, halting my beautiful heavy cruisers with their heavy SAMs that I want to join the fleet so much. Funds in themselves are actually excellent at the moment. Can't complain. In terms of builds, I've got quite a way off. So I've got 15 at plus 12 months, and I got 19 at plus 6 months, and a handful at less than 6 months. So quite a lot of long builds that's going to take this balance into tricky areas, really. I probably will have to halt some other constructions, or if the tensions with Britain go down, I can stick the 2 battle cruisers that are still active into either reserve or into mothballs, just to help with that. Yes, I hate doing that, but, you know, needs must and all of that. The surface strike capability is pretty excellent. I'm full of surface-to-surface missiles, as many as I can have, and my big carrier fleet air arm is now, got lashings and lashings of anti-ship missiles. And I have the doctrine at plenty. Now that is expensive. And instead of putting the battle cruisers into reserve or mothballs, I could just take that down to standard. Reluctant to do that, but that's definitely a possibility. Guns, I'm absolutely fine. Torpedoes, again, I've probably been a bit harsh on myself. When I counted up the number of torpedoes I had for my last war with French, it was comparable to the number of surface-to-surface missile launchers I had. So although they've gone down in absolute terms, there are still plenty of torpedoes out there. Air defense, well, magnificent cap at the moment, and we are well on the way at getting a second-generation heavy fighter to replace the first-generation one with its poor reliability. Cross fingers. Air defense guns, I got too severe with heavy AA. I'm now bringing that back a little bit. Plenty of medium. And SAMs. Again, objectively, I don't have as many as I want, but I probably have as many as I could have at this stage. The fleet ASW, though the weapons are pretty good at the moment, I'm fine with that. The training, because training has suffered, has gone down, so the fleet ASW has gone down, and the sensors, I still have too many that don't have the enhanced sonar, or indeed necessarily the max radar, because that turns out to be a significant thing. And of course, helicopters aren't yet getting radars to help with all of that kind of stuff. The air readiness, well, heavy jet fighters, fine. Jet attack aircraft, fine as well. We've got a new second generation one of those under development. My patrol and medium bombers are middle-aged, so could be better, but okay. My helicopters, again, I'm probably being a bit harsh. They're first generation. They're probably as good as they can be. And I'm starting to roll them out across the fleet because of their multiple benefits, as discussed in previous episodes. And light jet fighters are also middle-aged. I have some land-based, and obviously I have a little bit of a stock of them, so I might increase them in war just to provide daylight cover. My blockade strength versus the UK and France combined is insufficient, at least until I go around and sink some of their ships. But against Britain, it's fine, and I either have blockade against them, or if I don't, all I need to do is sink a few big ships, and I will. My submarines are kind of in the same sort of place. Obviously, my missile submarines are a little bit of an issue since I've had to pause them, and they're, like a good year out from being ready. The strategic ASW, the trade protection, I think I'm pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. And mine warfare, I'm good as well. Plenty of mine layers to drop those mines that muck up enemy submarines. So is there another one? Yes, there is. Coastal defense. So I'm invasion resistant everywhere, except for Sierra Leone, and I didn't really want Sierra Leone, so I'm not really bothered. And I think I can invade Canada if I can, first of all, knock down the British a peg or two, put some ships into the eastern USA sea zone, and assuming it's allowed, because it's right on the cusp of Newfoundland. So cross fingers for that. So should things turn nasty, I'm, largely in a pretty good position. Really, only the balance of financials is the main concern. I'm not super concerned with the blockade strength of both of them, because I feel I can come out of that pretty quickly. If we have a little look at the year in review, we've got these new heavy cruiser with guided missiles on under construction, loving them. A new class of fleet destroyers, a new class of destroyer escorts. We're just finishing off our modernization of our current destroyer escorts and corvettes. We've got this jet attack second generation, hopefully reliable, under development, and the heavy jet fighter is just about to enter service, I think, in 3 months. Yeah, almost at war with the UK. They blinked. Whether they'll continue to blink or not, interesting. And a little bit of a cash crisis. Well, actually, what I did is what I didn't do. I didn't actually plan out my new construction in a 5-year plan, as I want to do usually. And this is what happens, because you have a rush of blood to the head and you get giddy and super excited because you can buy this and you can buy that, and then suddenly you've got no money. Research seems to have been really low. So just these three, and they're, nothing to shout about particularly. They're just all incremental improvements. The budget, so we ended at 650 last year, 690 this year, so we can't complain that we haven't had the extra funds. Construction has zoomed up from nothing, because we just happened to have finished a lot of construction at the end of last year, to 22,000. And yeah, our funds, oops, that's wrong. And then finally, our relationships. So we used to be at 6 versus Britain and 6 versus France. We're currently 10 and 7, and we have been 11 and 9. Most other things are fine, except, I noticed the Japanese and the British seem to be having a little bit of argy-bargy as well. So, but the rest all seems to be perfectly calm. Little slight lifts here and there, but nothing of any great note. So that's where we are now. Let's go in and zoom in. Okay, so let's have a little look at this cash crisis. So with everything building, I am minus 12,000, which is pretty unsustainable. Here's the current builds. The ones I talked about just a few minutes ago were actually taken in the summer. So things have improved. So we've got quite a lot that are going to finish in the next 4 months, which is great. And then another 4 plus 6 guided missile submarines, so 10 that are going to finish within the next year, or 6 to 12 months, and then another 9, these 3 plus another 6 guided missile submarines that are going to finish in the next more than a year. So first of all, let's go to these submarines and let's halt their construction. They all cost quite a bit. So let's halt that. They still cost 14, even under halted construction, but that's taken the 12,000 to 8,000, so that's a bit of a boost. So that helps, but it's still minus 8,000, and that's only 4 months before we run out of funds. So if we delay the Bismarck again, that takes us down to 5,000. So that will give us something like 6 months worth of funds. So all of this lot coming out in 4 months' time, or within 4 months' time, is going to be 4,500, just short of. So that's going to leave minus 1,000 to deal with, which obviously is dealable. We could always delay one of these destroyers, for example, which is nearly 1,000 each. So yeah, at minus 5,000, I think I'm fine. And who knows, we might get a spot more money as well. Just before I finish this, one other choice is to instead of having 2 of the battlecruisers on mothballs and 2 inactive, I could put all 4 into reserve, and this would take this down to minus 4,800. But whilst Britain is at 10, I'm reluctant to do that because of the crew quality. I also noticed that the Breslau here is somewhat obsolete and will need a refit, but just not now. Right, let's press the big turn button and see what the fates bring for the winter of 1957. So a few bits of reconstruction is always good. Some laying down, some scrapping. The French are putting a lot of effort into gunnery training. Well, that is interesting. Our 17-inch guns are superior to French guns of the same caliber. Meh. So, okay, nothing too much there. So that's already brought us down an agreeable amount, which is nice to see. And, oh, Britain now has gone down to 9. So 9 feels like if we did have a tension event, it wouldn't immediately go to war. I mean, it's always possible, but less likely. So I think I am going to put the battlecruisers into reserve just for now, just to take that down even further and just push past this strapped for cash crisis. A few more of those. That's all good. Nothing too interesting in that lot. Okay, quite a few promotions or abilities revealed, so I'll just tidy that up in a moment. And tension with France has reduced, not that one, this one, because of the previous war. Ooh, yes, very much so. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to have a look at the officers, sort them by ability. We have our 3 incompetents, who we are not using. We have our 1 brilliant. Shame that our previous brilliant admiral has retired. And then, yeah, I'll just find where, well, first of all, below average. So here's the below average. And we just have the Hamburg being commanded by this well-connected chap. He keeps on popping up. That's what you get for well-connected, isn't it? He keeps on getting a ship. Let's de-ship him. Well, it turns out I couldn't with an average or above average because there weren't any Fregatten Capitans suitable to take over that light cruiser. I put a couple of Captain Suzis in charge of destroyer squadrons to improve their leadership, and I'm just left with Contra Admiral Hersing, who needs a command. So Flug 3 and 2 are average. 3 is average aviator, 2 and 1 are above average, very happy with that. Linens 1 and 2 are average with gunnery experts, that seems completely appropriate. Air Defense 1 is above average, Air Defense 2 is a question mark, so that's a possibility. In fact, yeah, that seems like the best one to do. So let's do that. Still not impacting my morale as I make these changes. So if I go back to the Hamburg, so I just want a relatively junior question marky kind of, well, here's one. He's very junior. Reassign to the Hamburg. There he is, hiding at the top. Right, let's do that. See, that does, and it's probably because he's well connected, and you never know, it wouldn't surprise me if he pops back in command of something else pretty soon. Okay, let's go to April. More ships finishing working up, more ships recommissioned. What do we do about the old Balkans again? Well, if we back our ally unconditionally, it's tensions and it's money. So let's go for a bit of money. New light jet prototypes ready for evaluation. Okay, well these are certainly a lift in maximum speed. There's none in service. That's not true. It's just obsolete, and it's about 640 miles an hour or so. Well, the Blumenboss seemed to be the clear winner. Nice and fast, lovely long range, and fine for the weapons. Who knows the reliability, but they still can't do missiles. So very much want them just in a fighter role. And our new jet attack is ready for surface. China wants to buy our medium bomber. Whoa, why not? Why not? Does that give us money? Nope, but, you know, who doesn't want to be friends with China? No significant news in that lot. We've lost a good captain, which is a shame. He's left the service and he's been replaced by a question mark. Tension between France and Britain has decreased because they're both tense with me. Well, all right then. So let's just close that. So let's just have a look at aircraft types. So here is our new jet attack, literally just rolling off the production lines, and compare it to the old one. Slightly faster, marginally less range, similar-ish aircraft characteristics, same kind of weapons out there, actually slightly worse. Yeah, only two 2,000-pound bombs against two 3,000-pound bombs for the previous. But the one that matters is this one. Will it have average reliability? I do hope so, because that will have made the whole thing worthwhile. I will obsolete this old one, and obviously it'll take a while for the new Focke-Wulf to come back. Do I then actually have a look at a new plane? Well, why not? Oh, I didn't notice, but our Messerschmitt heavy fighter has good reliability. Well, that's a real bonus. I didn't expect that. So that's a really nice result. So I'm not bothered with the helicopter. It's still relatively new, and I'll just allow some time to develop before we replace that. Its reliability is also good, which, you know, that's worth keeping. Also a surprise. So it's either the medium bomber or the naval patrol. And since the naval patrol is the older, let's see what we can get for that. I am interested in speed. I know that doesn't, sound like something that should happen, but when they're traveling for hours and hours, if I can lift the speed from 150 knots cruise speed to, I don't know, let's dream, 200, that would actually really help them get intelligence more quickly. So I think speed, I'm going to put speed as the second priority. Obviously, maneuverability is unimportant. Range, for me, is unimportant. They already have long enough range that I don't really need to worry about that. Bomb load, definitely not. Firepower, definitely not. So toughness, maybe, and then reliability. So I think I'm going to go for reliability again. Toughness, I mean, this one's already max tough, so there's not a lot to be gained there. They're probably going to get good firepower and good toughness figures just anyhow. And although the current one has average reliability, having good reliability would be excellent. So actually, I'm going to swap that round the other way, because reliability is kind of like a dependable thing that you need, whereas speed actually, I think, would make a difference in its ability to cover areas more quickly. So let's go for that. And then nip into May. Couple more ships working up. 5 ships are commissioned. Problems with missile cruisers. searching for 3,800 ton destroyers, which would allow for medium SAMs on them. Usual churn of ships. Tensions with France reducing yet further. So that's fine. So with Britain, we are at 9. With France, we are at 6, which is great. And our monthly balance, huzzah, has come back into the plus. So I can start turning things back on slightly. So let's resume with the Bismarck first of all. 5 more months and 6 to get these destroyers out. 734. I mean, that's a big monthly balance. Let's just have a quick look at the almanac. So 734, over 1 million for Britain, 652 for France, 602 for Italy, just under 6 for the Soviet Union. Slightly more, but comparable with Japan. 1,200 for the USA. A pathetic 170 for China, and a pathetic 227 for Spain. And they are backwards. The Soviet Union is average, and everyone else is very advanced in their technology. Nip down at the bottom. Yep, that's all fine. And let's go to June. Bit more working up. I need to just check that all of these ships that have re-entered service are back and assigned to their various things. Trying to master double SAM launchers. Seems to be a lot of technologies just bubbling underneath that they're somehow not managing to land. No, we're fine with the air bases. Whole pile of ship churn, I think I want to call it. Few bits of command nonsense. Tensions between France and Britain decrease because they have common values. Good for them. All right, and let's close that one out. Yes, so all of the divisions and stuff seem to be behaving themselves. Nice to see that the Immanuel Kants have an ASW of 9. Yes, they're minesweepers as well, but that's for the good. These new Heinrich Hertzes are less capable at the moment. They have a nominal 9, but of course they're just working up and have various bits of crew quality. A lot of the others are quite poor. Oh, I wonder why they're down there. Let me just... Yeah. Why is that in repair? Who knows? So yeah, all good. So let's hit the turn button, take us to the beginning of July, and see what happens. A jet attack with 521. I think that's quite poor. 521. Let's try and remember that. I do wish you could just check instantly your own aircraft there rather than having to remember 521, 521, 521. Nothing in intelligence particularly. Britain has reduced its tensions as well. So Britain is now just 8, France is 5, the Soviet Union is 4. So yeah, really nothing very much to worry about. Oh yeah, so our jet attack is 590. That one we just saw was 520, so considerably faster. Just these 2 obsolete cruisers that will need to receive some loving attention at some point. The construction, so just 3 and 4 months away from that. And then when these are through, we can start to continue building these missile submarines. And so, yeah, I officially declare ourselves to be through the cash crisis and looking good for the summer and autumn of 1957. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time, friends.